All right, let's get right into it. Some days in the world of fintech are pretty quiet, tumbleweeds. And then you get days where it feels like a three-ring circus, everything happening at once. Today, we're going to break down one of those days where three of the biggest names out there, SoFi, PayPal, and Mastercard, all made these huge but completely different moves.
Yeah, and that quote, it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? You've got corporate drama, you've got these massive bets on the future, and then you have these quiet, sneaky power plays happening in the background. It's the kind of day that really gives you a window into where the entire world of money is headed.
So think of it like this. We're basically watching three different movies playing out on the exact same day. What we're going to do is break down each one, and then, at the very end, see how they all connect to paint this one incredible picture of what's next for finance. All right, first up, we've got the action movie. I mean, this is a full-on, high-stakes public brawl. You've got this up-and-coming digital bank squaring off against one of the most feared names on Wall Street. It's basically a fintech cage match. So in this corner, you have SoFi, the digital bank that's just been on an absolute heater, right? They're growing like crazy, and they've finally shaken off that just a student loan company label. And then in the other corner, you've got Muddy Waters. And these guys are notorious short sellers. So, quick refresh, what's a short seller? Well, it's pretty simple. They're investors who bet that a company's stock is going to go down. And Muddy Waters? They're one of the best in the business. This analogy is perfect. They're like the Gordon Ramsay of finance. They're not there to praise the chef. They're there to find every single flaw in the kitchen. And trust me, they are not quiet about it when they do. And yeah, they came out swinging hard. Muddy Waters drops this big report basically accusing SoFi of playing games with their accounting to hide risks. And bam, the first punch connects. SoFi's stock takes a hit, dropping around 6% almost instantly. But then you get the counterpunch. And it's a huge show of confidence from inside the building. The CEO of SoFi, Anthony Noto, he goes out and buys $500,000 worth of his own company stock on the same day. I mean, that is the ultimate "we're not scared" power move. So what happens? Well, by the time the bell rings at the end of the day, the stock has clawed back most of what it lost. Which really brings us to the most important question, right? Did this whole attack actually uncover anything new? Anything that could genuinely stop SoFi's momentum in its tracks? And it seems like the market's answer, at least for now, was a pretty clear nope. Surviving a public takedown attempt from a firm like Muddy Waters, it's kind of like a rite of passage. If you can take their best shot and you're still standing, well, ironically, that can actually make the people betting on you feel even better about their choice.
Okay, so that's movie number one. Now for Act 2. While all that drama was happening with SoFi, you've got this established giant, PayPal, trying to write its own comeback story with a huge, ambitious product launch. This one's more of a high-tech gamble.
So here's the deal. PayPal announced they're rolling out their stablecoin, PYUSD, to 70 different markets. And if you're not super familiar, a stablecoin is just a type of crypto that's tied to something stable, like the US dollar, so it doesn't jump all over the place. Why is this a big deal? Because it could let people send money across borders way faster and cheaper than using the clunky old banking system. But here's the elephant in the room. This has always been the million-dollar or, billion-dollar question for PayPal's crypto plans. It's cool that they built it, awesome that it's out there, but is anyone actually going to use it? Now look, you can't just write PayPal off. Not at all. They are sitting on an absolute mountain of advantages. We're talking over 400 million users, a ginormous network of merchants who already accept PayPal, and a brand that people actually know and trust. On paper, they have everything they need to make this a home run. So this whole move really puts them at a fork in the road. The best case scenario, the bull case, is that this thing, PYUSD, turns PayPal into a core piece of how money moves around the globe. The worst case scenario, the bear case, it's just another feature in a busy app that nobody ever clicks on. So yeah, getting it out there to the world, that's a huge first step. But at the end of the day, success comes down to one simple thing. Do people use it? Distribution is the easy part. Creating actual demand, that's the hard part. And that brings us to our third and final movie. This one's not a big, loud blockbuster. It's more of a slow burn thriller. It was by far the quietest thing that happened all day, but honestly, it might end up being the most important move for the next decade. And this quote, man, it just nails it. While everyone's watching the fist fight and the big product launch, Mastercard is in the background, making a move that just feels so calculated, so quiet, so powerful. It's exactly like that character in the movie who you realize won the whole thing in the post-credit scene. So what did they do? Mastercard announced they're buying a company called BVNK. Now, most people have never heard of them, but what they do is super important. They're a company out of the UK, and to put it simply, they build the plumbing, all the behind-the-scenes pipes and infrastructure that makes stablecoin payments actually work for businesses. And this move, it shows a really clear strategic choice. Look, Mastercard isn't dumb. They see stablecoins coming, and they know it could mess with their main business. So they had a choice. Option 1, try to compete and build their own stablecoin. Option 2, just own the infrastructure, the rails, that everybody's stablecoins are going to need to use. And yeah, they chose to own the rails. This is such a classic infrastructure play. It's brilliant. It's like, why bother starting one train company when you can just buy all the train tracks? It doesn't matter which train becomes the most popular. They all have to pay you. Mastercard is setting themselves up to be absolutely essential, no matter who ends up winning the stablecoin race. And you know what's funny? The market barely even blinked. Why? Because this deal isn't going to change anything on their next earnings report. But that is not the point. This isn't about chasing some short-term crypto fad. It is a quiet, super calculated bet on what the entire financial system is going to look like, not next year, but in 2035. Okay, let's roll the credits and pull all three of these stories together. We had the action flick, the high-tech comeback story, and the quiet corporate thriller. So what does it all mean when you put them side by side? You can really see the three totally different strategies right here. You had SoFi playing defense, proving their story was solid enough to take a punch. You had PayPal going on offense, shipping a new product and betting big that people will actually use it. And then you have Mastercard, just playing the long game, quietly buying up the essential plumbing for whatever comes next. And all of this leaves us with one really fascinating question to think about. As the future of finance gets built, which one of these strategies is going to win out? Is it the fighter, the one who can survive the public battles? Is it the innovator who can build the next killer app? Or is it the architect, the one who quietly owns the invisible foundation that everything else has to be built on? That's the real story we'll be watching unfold.